Welcome to my channel, where there are interesting and equally sensational stories. Listen to today's story. My 24 male wife, 22 female, had an affair while I was away for work. We decided to move past it. Now she's pregnant, and we can't agree how to proceed. I guess I'm looking for advice just as much as a chance to vent. Sorry if this isn't the place for that. My wife and I have been married for 2 years, together for 4. I work on a river barge, so I spend about a month away from home at a time for work, followed by 2 weeks off. I've been doing this for the last year since I got laid off from my other job. I just got back from my job. Found out that my wife has been having an affair with an old boyfriend that recently came back to town. I asked how many times, and I wish I didn't. She said she wasn't sure that it had been a continual thing. They started talking on Facebook a few months ago, but it had only been innocent catching up until this last time I left. This time, they agreed to meet up and had basically been sleeping together all month while I was away. She said that she had planned to end it when I got back and knew she had to come clean. She let me look at her Facebook message inbox and text messages for proof, and the messages were consistent with her story and timeline. My initial reaction was that the marriage was over. I felt betrayed, hurt, and didn't think I'd ever be able to trust her again. I worked my butt off so that she doesn't have to work while she's in school. I felt like being faithful was the least she could do for me. She knew what marriage meant to me long before we took her vows. Both of us are Catholics. We aren't perfect Catholics by a long shot, but we're deeply religious. I stressed to her that for me, marriage is a forever commitment, in sickness and in health, until death to his part means something to me. I told her that I know I wanted to be with her for the rest of my life, but only if she could promise me that she knew the same thing. I stayed at a friend's place for a few days and thought it over. First, I talked to our priest. He reminded me what I signed up for and believed in. Marriage is a forever commitment, and that means being able to forgive and work past problems. He recommended that for now, I find work closer to home so I can be with my wife and that we seek marriage counseling either through the church or with a therapist. I talked to some of the older guys I work with and it kind of gave me some perspective. A lot of them had gone through the same thing. Some of their marriages survived and a lot of them didn't. A lot of them agreed that spending long periods away from home at a time can be rough on any marriage, but especially tough for young marriages. I understand that feeling constantly lonely and being by yourself in an empty house is hard. We talked, and she assured me that she loves me. She promised me that the affair meant nothing to her, that she just felt alone, that she would cut off all contact with the guy. She understood that she would have to work to earn my trust back, agreed to give me access to her Facebook and to check her phone randomly until I can trust her again. She also agreed to go to marriage counseling. On my end, I've agreed to find a local job so that I can be with her and focus on her marriage. We aren't having sex right now and haven't since she came clean to me. I wanted to take it slow getting intimate again, and she has respected that. We've been kissing and cuddling and sleeping in the same bed. More recently, she has been insisting on giving me sexual favors, which I'm okay with. She says she just wants to know that I still want her and that she wants to please me. I do want her, and I appreciate her efforts. Still, no sex, though. It's not her. It's me. I still find her attractive. I think it's going to take at least a little while before I feel like having sex with her again. I guess I still feel grossed out by the prospect of it, like she's unclean or something. She understands how I feel and is okay with it. She offered to let me cheat on her to get even or get some physical release, but I declined. I don't want to screw somebody else. I want to be with my wife, and I just want things to go back to normal. 2 weeks later, we find out she's pregnant. Obviously, the other guy is the father. I'm the only person she has told so far. Being religious, abortion off the bat, was off the table for us. I told her that I want her to put the baby up for adoption. I'm willing to forgive her and repair her marriage, and I can look past an awful lot. What I know that I cannot do is go through every day looking at a reminder of her infidelity and having the other guy intertwined in our lives in some capacity. I can't do it. I know that probably makes me a poor Christian, but I've got to believe that God understands that I'm not perfect and forgives me. She wants to keep the baby. She says that the other guy never has to know about it and that she understands that our marriage cannot survive with him in our lives, but her opinion is that it isn't the baby's fault. The baby didn't ask to be born out of an adulterous relationship, and that we would be unnecessarily causing the baby to suffer by putting it up for adoption. She also says that the baby is part of her and that she would like me to be able to love and accept the child as a part of her instead of the other man. I understand where she's coming from, and I get that I would have to be terrible to carry a baby and have it growing inside you for 9 months knowing that you've got to give it away as soon as it's born. But I can't do it. I really don't know what else to say. She has agreed to talk to our priest about it with me, but regardless of what he says, I can't see either of us budging on it. My marriage might be over, and all I feel like doing is drinking until I pass out. I barely think about it, but we haven't even talked to our families about the infidelity yet, let alone the pregnancy. The whole thing is embarrassing, and I don't want the attention. I don't want people telling me that we're in their prayers, but judging our marriage and guessing how each of us failed. I just want it all to go away. Update 1. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can meet with an attorney tomorrow and find out what I need to do to ensure that I won't be financially responsible for the child. I expect that she will probably be angry and see this as some sort of power move to force her into adoption. It's clear to me that I could not be happy raising another man's child. It's just too much to ask. I plan to talk to her and tell her that, while I forgive her for the adultery itself, the marriage is doomed. We're at an impasse where one of us has to lose in order for the other to win. There is no half baby. It's all in or all out. Moreover, it isn't fair to deny the father's child the chance to know he is a father or the child the chance to know who the father is. I don't partially fault him for what happened. I don't know him. He doesn't know me. I questioned his morals in sleeping with a married woman, but it isn't as if he had any duty or pledged loyal to me. It's my wife I should be angry with if anything. I can't even manage that. I just want to get this over with and move forward. Thanks again, everyone. Update 2. I've spoken to a good friend and attorney about it this morning. And he has offered to represent me and work with me on cost. I've decided to move forward with initiating divorce. As I've said, I have forgiven her what she did. But I've also realized that forgiveness doesn't mean that it would be healthy for either of us to remain in the marriage. I can't raise this child. I don't blame the child. But I know that I would resent it every day. Even if my wife agreed to adoption, I know that she would resent me for pressuring her to do it. The fact is she has made her choice emotionally. We both know what she wants the outcome to be, and the best thing I can do for both of us in the long term is to stick to my guns. If I'm able to get an annulment through the church, fantastic. If not, so be it. I've got a hard time believing that God will not forgive me for this. For now, my attorney has advised me not to tell my wife and instead to collect all evidence I have of the affair first. I'd like to believe that my wife wouldn't try to destroy the evidence, but given what has happened and what is at stake, I'm not going to take the chance. I'll speak to her sometime this week, and we'll ask her to leave. Alright, community. Time for some comments. First up is enrichment only. It is asking a lot of you to raise the result of your wife's affairs, your own. I understand why she feels the way she does. Few women want to part with her babies, but she's asking too much of you. Leave her. If she wants to keep the baby, let her keep it. The other guy can co-parent and pay for it, and you'll be free to seek out a companion who is willing to be faithful to you and give you the family of your own that you deserve. Edit. And since she was clearly barebacking with her affair partner, make sure you have been thoroughly tested for STDs. I'm in the goo says, first off, I am struck by how big your heart seems to be. Overcoming infidelity is a near insurmountable challenge that many people cannot or will not even attempt. Reddit is huge on infidelity as an absolute deal trigger, but I think if both parties are willing to put in the work, a lifetime of work to move past it, then it is possible. I commend you for trying. You make me want to be a better person. That said, it is clear that the baby is too much. Many people have already said it. It's you or the baby. She has to choose. Even if she gives it up for adoption, the pregnancy will be a huge challenge. Keeping the baby is simply not an option if you stay together. She said it isn't fair for the baby, but a newborn up for adoption is very different than an 8-year-old up for adoption. You could basically handpick who the baby goes to ensure it ends up in a good home. Wouldn't that be a better option than being born into a broken or nearly broken marriage? Mike 41279 says, how exactly does your wife ever sit down considering the size of her giant balls? You're 24. Divorce her and move on. You have so much life to live. Why not share it with a woman that will be loyal to you? Best of luck. Squarely Bird piles on. Right? The audacity to sleep with an ex while her husband is away working to pay for her school. She thinks she can just cut him out of everything and will be fine. Then she was pregnant. It's okay. She can keep it and fall back on the op to help her raise it. F that. She has totally effed her life up. 22. OP. Is young and shouldn't go down with that sinking ship. I wonder if the ex would take her back knowing she was going to cut him out while pregnant with her child. I hope not. The Bear of Wisdom has her final comment. This is getting to me in a big way of all the posts I read here. I see how many people are married and at really young ages. I'm confused by it. Mainly I think, because I'm 27, and I cannot imagine being married to someone for life at this point. Is this a regular thing elsewhere? I only know one of my friends married early. Because her partner was older and going through medical problems. She was told she would have to get pregnant sooner than later, so she married her husband, and they have a lovely little family. But that's the minority for me anyway. I guess I'm just asking based on location or anything really. Is this a regular move to making a relationship when you're 22 and 24, respectively? It just seems so young to me.